I'm a determined female engineer. My greatest joy is that I've been able to challenge the status quo and made great impacts in the lives of many other people, young females and young students.
Meet Gladys, a woman who is an epitome of love, courage, persistence, and selflessness.
What inspires me is first of all God. God has created me in a very unique way to love to do things that other women will not want to do. So that alone is an inspiration for me. And then also what I do, the love that I have for what I do also keeps me going, because it gets to a point that you wish, you just leave what you are doing. But the love keeps, pushing me. When you come to the engineering department, we have all male teachers, exception of me. So we will say 1:10. You can see how the percentage is very, very small. I'm the only female in Tema Technical Institute who teaches in the engineering department.
Tema is an industrial hub of Ghana. It is home to an oil refinery and numerous industries that produces varied products like aluminium, steel, petroleum, textiles, and food products. Nicknamed the Harbour City, Tema is a major trading center, and the Greenwich Meridian passes directly through the city. This is Tema Technical Institute, where Gladys is a teacher in welding and fabrication.
Welcome once again. This is the welding and fabrication department. What is welding?
Welding is the process of bending two metals.
Okay. But when we say it is a process, what does it mean? Yes.
They are in order.
They are in order. Good. Any other?
Sorry, repeat steps.
They are steps. Any other? Yes.
They are ready to follow.
All those that they have said are equally important. And when we say that something is a process, it means that it involves a series of activities. And those activities that you go through is what makes the welding a process. Now, as we have all these things rolled out, the next time we meet, we will talk about something that is very crucial, and that is safety in welding.
It is never a dull moment in a class. As if this is not enough, Gladys does advocacy through media and other platforms to encourage more girls to train, build careers, and take up job opportunities in technical fields, because it is not a preserve for men only.
Enisuade hu bi se mi pese mi yesi ba oni ehun nimdie na se woni hu nimdie a wo ya eya na sinto bebre ebem nti mi nko amadwen kire de obi bia opese ode ne hu ehye se adansie mu anase auxiliary services ni mu no e wo se osua hu ade.
Initially when I started, it was a bit intimidating, because even when I started as a student, were more than 30 in the class and I was the only female. And so for the first time seeing all these men or young men around, it was a bit intimidating, but over the years I've mastered my craft.
professional welder exhibited a mastery over the welding profession.
See how nice. The current was a bit higher, but so that's why we see the spatters around. But this one of the smooth, weldings that you can see.
A report by UN Women titled Turning Promises into Action stressed that gender inequalities in the labor market persist largely due to occupational segregation and gender pay gaps.
Women in male-dominated areas or trades, the challenges we face are enormous. The first, I would say, is the fact that, like for me, when people see me and I tell them I'm a welder, they don't believe it. The fact that I appear like this and I'm not some macho girl, I'm not some crooked face kind of a person, they feel like no. To the point that even a manager I worked with before will say that, Gladys, anytime you are going for an interview, anytime you are going to work, don't go dressed like this. I should always be in my overall. I should always have the things that will at least cover my feminine parts more to make me look masculine for the job, because they look at you and they think that no, this is not your place. They think you are some secretary somewhere. Apart from that, other challenges are the fact that we don't get the long-term jobs, especially in my sphere of work, the welding especially. When people want to employ you, they are thinking of your personal life. They think that, oh, you get married. Even before I got married, they would be like, oh, you get married, you start making babies, and you will not be fit for the work. So most women face this problem or challenge. Then there's that challenge of men thinking that you are coming to rub shoulders with them. And so instead of giving you the opportunity, they say, oh, this woman is too known. This one thinks that she knows. They have some fear. And in order to they don't even want to bring out the fear aspect, and so they cover it up by, propagating some things that, oh, women in male-dominated fields are like this, like that. So that is also a challenge. But in all, I think that we are climbing small. Ghana can achieve gender equality, but it's a long way. It's a long way because promoting women and girls and then also empowering them has to be inclusive, where all the stakeholders are at their peak. The men has to come on board and everyone has to come, even we the women ourselves. Because sometimes there are people, if you want to help them, they don't even want the help. They are comfortable with what they are, the situation they are currently in. So yes, we can achieve, but I think that we should do more action than talking.
According to the Global Fund for Women, closing the gender technology gap means helping girls to access training and educational opportunities in science, technology, engineering, maths and information technology.
The next stage is to master your skill. And so if you're a young lady, you want to come into welding, when you have the passion will drive you here. When you come, learn all that we are teaching you, or wherever you find yourself, learn the skill, master the skill. That way, nobody will say that, oh, you just want to come and walk around and add to the numbers. But you are here, you mean business. So be focused, know what you want to do, have passion for it, master it.
Promoting SDG 7, that is, affordable and clean energy, is a safe way to go. The use of renewable energy sources like the sun and wind energy for both domestic and industrial use will help keep our environment safe. What role is Gladys playing as a woman to safeguard the environment in the fight against global warming?
Welding is an industrial process, and one of the things that happens, or even more than just one, is that there are hazards that are associated with it. We have, the current that we use, the intensity, especially when we are doing arc welding, even with gas welding, there are chemicals, chemical reactions that take place. So when we are welding, there are emissions of fumes and gases which go a long way to affect the environment, even we the people doing it. So like I said in class, we need to take safety very serious. So when these fumes and dust are emitted into the environment, they have an impact on the environment, and that can go a long way to even affect the climate as we are even experiencing now. So what I think we should do as a people is that we need to take safety as number one. Because for us here, even in this workshop, we have made provisions. So when you are welding, in fact, the people in the shop will not even see the arc. We use curtains to close. So even if I start welding now, those outside, they will know that somebody is welding, but it won't come out for them to see. If they see it with their naked eyes, it will affect their eyes. Then we also have a chimney that collects the fumes that are generated and then sends it out, where it will not even affect the people. So these are some of the things that we can do. And as a nation, let's locate the places that these activities take place a lot and then teach them. Unfortunately for our brothers and sisters who have workshops and they work in the open, I have had to stop people, not even 1, 2. I've stopped people in Ashaman, I've stopped people in Tema who were just welding, and they will not, even protect the people. They will not protect the people. They will not even put the screen. We call it screening. Screen the place. They are welding in the open, and people are just passing by. When you do that, the environment is affected a lot. The people are also affected.
Let's plant more trees, cultivate backyard gardens, and use renewable energy as sources of power.